What's going on, Roundup homies? Greetings to you guys. Greetings, greetings. What's going down? It is an honor to be with you today. It's a beautiful day here in Virginia Beach area of Virginia. It's 80 degrees. Isabel, where are you at and how's the weather where you are?
I'm coming in from Phoenix today, and it is not 80 degrees. It's probably like 95 already. We're cooking over here.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, you still get the good weather in the bad months, so
Oh, I'm not complaining. Phoenix is great.
you gotta take the best.
Yeah.
So come on in, Roundup homies. Today it has taken me, you guys don't know this, but I have been waiting for this lady for over a month, trying to get her on the channel to figure out how to talk about this residential assisted living thing. And she's finally here.
Woohoo.
She made it. She is super, super duper busy. And we're gonna have some goodies for all of you guys to stay on here. I promise you, I've been needling with her team to make sure that we give you some maximum value.
Yeah.
And make sure that we help you as we commit ourselves to raising your financial literacy through real estate investing and entrepreneurship. I am Chris Haskins. I'm going to be your co-pilot for today as Isabel talks all about this crazy thing. I've always wondered about the elderly. I'm like, it's so much money. How could I tap into? I mean, it's my mother. She goes to the doctor. I'm looking at the bills. I'm like, this is just not right.
Yeah. It's a huge industry and a growing industry for sure.
How long you been doing this? You gonna get into all that stuff?
Yeah, we've been doing it for almost 10 years. We've been training other people how to do it, and I think we've owned our homes for almost 14 years now, so it's been quite a minute.
What did you do before that? I was just like, I mean, what did people do? Did they just get into this?
My dad was a real estate investor, and he's who got me involved with this. I'll share a little bit about that too, but before, I mean, I'm pretty young. 15 years ago, I was, out of college doing I would actually was a flight attendant for about 2 years before I did this. So
That
um,
is so
I
cool.
I had watched him be a real estate investor my whole life, but then I saw him sell everything he owned and go all in on this one thing. And I was like, what are you doing? What's going on here? And so it's the first time I was, my interest was piqued into real estate investing to see what he's doing. So
Yeah, that's so cool.
yeah.
So today she's gonna be doing a quick training, guys. She's gonna go over all this stuff, everything you need to know about this assisted living thing. And I'm so interested in this because I don't like tenants. I don't know. Does anybody in the chat? Could anybody put in the chat if you love who? Have you ever met a landlord that says, you know what, man, I just love dealing with tenants? Never met
Let's,
one.
let's see. No.
Never met anybody. So that's cool. All right, come on in. You can bring your screen up, Isabel,
Okay.
whenever you're ready. I'll bring it in because
Cool.
I still got to bring it in and stuff. So,
Okay, here we go. I'm gonna load it up. You let me know. I can't see you when I have this up. So if you
oh
need
man,
me, interrupt me, okay?
can you still hear me?
I can hear you. I just can't see you or me anymore. So hopefully we still look good. So,
Okay, cool.
all right.
Well,
Well, I'm excited to be here with you guys today to share all about residential assisted living. It is a topic that is near and dear to my heart. And like Chris shared at the end, we're going to give you guys an amazing opportunity to take action. So let's get into it. Why is right now the best timing for senior housing? It does not feel like good timing for a whole lot of different things, especially with real estate investing. People are looking around saying, should I be holding off right now? Should I be waiting until interest rates go down or inflation calms down? And the reality is, this is amazing timing for residential assisted living because the baby boomers have been driving our economy for the last 70 plus years. And this is your final chance to take advantage of the trends that they create. When people talk about following the wealth, right? This is the wealth. This is the money we want to follow. Currently, the silent generation is who's in assisted living. They're just about aging out, and the baby boomers are coming into the market. You can see that big green wall, that big green wave. That's what we call the silver tsunami of seniors. There's 76 million baby boomers coming into this market, and they will be infiltrating the market for the next 10, 20 years. The world looked very different in 1950 than what it's projected to look like in 2050 or even 2060. That 85 plus demographic is the fastest growing demographic on planet Earth today. The seniors are coming and we cannot stop it. But what we're talking about with residential assisted living, it's very different than what you might think of when someone says the word assisted living. It's not a big box facility with long hallways and impersonal staff where your loved one is just a number. No, it's kind of like what Uber did to taxi or what Airbnbs did to hotels. We are the newer, smaller, better option that's probably going to take over the world by storm. And so I want to show you how you can get involved. But what's going to change this year? You know, we can look around and say politically, economically, things are getting scary. Like, what is the world going to look like in these coming years or just this year alone? Or we can ask ourselves a question, a different way to ask the question. What do we know is not going to change? Because I don't know about you, and as much as I don't want to admit it, I can't stop aging, right? Raise your hand if you're getting older or know someone who is, right? We're all aging and it's kind of inevitable. And whether it's us or a loved one in our life, there's always someone who's going to need care and assistance in or around your circle. And this might be your opportunity to help your community and your family. What we love to focus on at the Residential Assisted Living Academy is doing good and doing well. Because there are a million ways that you can make money in real estate, but not all of them make you feel good about what you're doing, right? This is one of those opportunities that you have equal balance. Not only can you cash flow really well, but you also are making an impact. You're also changing lives. And that's why I love this sector so much. You know, personally, our journey began with a phone call. My grandmother, she fell and broke her hip, and the doctor said she can't go home alone. She needs 24/7 care and help with her activities of daily living. And in a moment like that, my family had to make a decision. Is someone going to quit their job and come live with grandma and take care of her 24/7? Are we going to get in-home care, which is insanely expensive? I'll share with you those numbers in just a moment, where a caregiver comes to live with her one-on-one for that 24/7 care. Or do we put her into a home? And as soon as we even said it, we felt that pit in our stomach, like, oh my gosh, I promised I wouldn't. I said I'd never. And I'm sure some of you who have senior loved ones, you face this exact situation, this exact scenario. But that's the reality of our options towards the end of life. And my grandmother, she was grandmother to 40 of us grandkids, mother to 7, cared for her husband, her mother until their last days. She deserved the best of the best. She was living in upstate New York at the time. And so we went to where she was living and we searched every facility we could find, and they smelled bad. The food was bad. The care was bad. They were expensive with waiting lists. And it was just such a bummer because we wanted something better for her. So my dad had been a real estate investor for 30 years up to that point. And he said, wait. I'm going to pay $5,000 a month for her to live in one of these homes, or I could own the real estate, operate the business. She can live for free and I can cash flow $10,000 a month. I'm getting into this. He sold everything else that he was doing and jumped all into residential assisted living. And I followed suit right after him. You know, my dad always used to say, I guarantee you're going to get involved in senior housing one way or the other. Either you're going to be lying in the bed or writing the check for someone who is, or you could be owning the real estate and or operating the business, cash flowing and having a place for your loved ones if they ever need assistance. Today, I want to share with you the 5 keys to success in residential assisted living, as well as for my more passive investors on the line, I want to show you how you can become a preferred real estate provider. Who am I and why should you listen to me? I'm the COO of Residential Assisted Living Academy. I was named top senior housing influencer and a future leader by Senior Housing News. I'm the best-selling author of Living Legacy and the host of the Assisted Living Network podcast. I learned everything I know about this business from my father. He was known as the godfather of residential assisted living before he passed a few years ago. And really, he was a legend, mentioned in, podcasts, books, TV shows. He was the go-to guy on this topic. And that was pretty cool. But what meant the most to me was when Robert Kiyosaki pointed at him from across the room and said, "Hey, that's the assisted living guy." And he ran over to my dad and he said, "Gene, tell me everything." They became fast friends, and Robert's invested over $100 million in a big box facility down the road from me in Scottsdale, Arizona. But you do not have to invest $100 million. Robert likes to use real estate to get out of the rat race, and I want to show you how to do that too. But he's doing this on a grand scale. And today is about you, not him or anyone else. So I know this is a personal question. You don't have to share with us in the chat. If you want to, you can. But I want to ask you, and I want you to think about this. How much money do you need every month to cover your monthly personal expenses? I mean, if you really think about it, the house, the car, the kids, the food, the fun, like all in, if you had a check coming in every single month that had this dollar amount on it, you could just spend time with who you want, donate to what you want, live where you want, buy what you want, right? Got that number? Okay. I'm blessed to share on this topic all across the country. And the number one response that I get is $10,000 a month.
Oh, yeah, that's me.
That's you. There you go. I love it.
That's what I put in.
If it's more than this, that's a-okay, right? Because just one residential assisted living home can get you to that number. So if you need more than that, we're talking 1, 2, or 3 properties. That is it. Not hundreds of doors, not thousands of units. No, just 1, 2, or 3 homes. And I can show you how to get there today. But why residential assisted living? Well, maybe you're starting to see what I see. This is an unstoppable wave of seniors, and it's going to be impacting our economy for the next 20 plus years. Timing has never been better, and it's also inevitable. You don't get to choose how or when you get involved unless you choose right now how or when you get involved, or else you're going to be hit upside the head like we were with my grandmother, making decisions on the fly. And that's not a fun place to be in. I'm not the only one getting involved in this. Meg the Stallion went back to Texas Southern University to learn how to open an assisted living facility. Why is a rapper getting involved in senior housing? You tell me. Maybe she sees the writing on the wall. Tyler Perry, he launched a TV show called Assisted Living. He's bringing it to mainstream media. He understands this is going to be a common topic in the American household, and it's kind of like a new age Golden Girls, but he knows what's up. He knows what's going to be the conversation topic. And Jimmy Buffett, I'm not even the biggest fan, but before Jimmy passed, he opened Margaritaville themed retirement communities. Heck yes, I want to sip margaritas and sing Jimmy Buffett until my last days. That sounds like a whole lot of fun, right? When it comes to options for single family home investing, you guys know this. You can fix and flip all day long. You buy a home, you renovate it, you sell it, and you make that money one time, 20 to 100K. But as you sell it, you're out of the job. You've got to go get another one and do it again, and another one and do it again. And that sure looks like the rat race to me. That's cash now, not cash flow. Single family rentals, right? You could be getting a couple $100 a month. This is cash flow. But to get to your, freedom number, it's going to take a lot of doors. And just like Chris was saying, he doesn't like tenants and single family rentals. What do they come with? Tenants, toilets, unpaid rent, and drama, right?
Drama.
The roof goes out, the flooring goes out, the AC goes out. There goes your profit for the whole year. It's really tough to make those work these days.
Or 2 years. I've seen people, $100, $200 a month, to be honest with you, Isabelle. You could kill a whole 2 years of cash flow for some people.
Easy. It happens all the time. Group homes. Some of you right now, you're saying, I have a heart for those who have clean, sober recovery needs, developmentally disabled adults, battered women, foster kids who've aged out of the system. Whatever the case may be, if you have a heart for a certain community, you could be opening a home for them, cash flowing $1,000 a month or more, and serving a population that really needs you. If that's where your heart lies, I highly encourage you to go that direction. Airbnbs. If you follow us on social media, you may think I hate Airbnbs, but I don't. Okay. I just like to tease Airbnb owners because basically cities are making it impossible for you to even be successful in this industry anymore. Atlanta, Scottsdale, San Diego, Nashville, Honolulu, practically shutting down the owners, right? Taking away every advantage they had because the hoteliers have a lot more money and power. Think about this. I don't know if you guys know this. Marriott is buying entire neighborhoods and turning them all into Airbnbs, and you get all your Marriott perks when you stay there. Do you think they have more money, power, and resources than the
Yeah.
solopreneur like you or I? Oh, heck yes. It's going to
Yeah.
be very difficult to compete in that market in the coming years. Owning and operating a care home at 10K a month, if I had one single family home and I had to decide what to do with it, it makes a whole lot of sense to go that direction. But Proverbs says, he who doesn't look ahead remains behind. You guys, this is going to be one of the biggest crises that our country, your state, your community, and maybe your family has ever faced, or it's one of the biggest opportunities of our lifetimes. If somebody handed you a crystal ball in 2008 or even in 2020, might you have played differently? I know I would have. This is that crystal ball. You can see the writing on the wall. We know what is coming. We know what is ahead. However, you want to get involved, I encourage you to get involved. I shared with you earlier that one of the options for my grandmother and for all of us is in-home care, where a caregiver comes to live with you one-on-one and take care of you. The average cost in our country today is $27 an hour. So if you need 24/7 care at $27 an hour times 30 days in a month, that is $19,000 a month to stay at home. Plus your mortgage, lease, whatever your house payment is, your activities, your food, your cable, your utilities, you name it, right? It can cost you 20, 25 grand to stay at home. So for those of you who have promised your loved ones, don't worry, we'll get you in home care. You may want to consider the cost. It is very expensive, and most Americans cannot afford that. Now, I will say this. Some of you are thinking, well, I don't need 24/7 care. I just need someone to watch them while I go to work, and I'll take nights and weekends. Well, say goodbye going to book club, wine club, poker club, church, Johnny's soccer game, Sarah's ballet practice. Because when a senior needs care, they need it, and they need it now. It is not, hey, mom, jump in the car. We're going to the baseball game. It's painful for them to get out of bed, let alone get to the car, sit for the 20-minute drive, walk 200 yards, sit on the bleachers for 2 hours. It's not happening, you guys. The average cost of care in our country today is $5,350 per person per month. Depending on where you live, it varies greatly, and I'll show you how to find that number in just a moment. But what is residential assisted living? Simply, it is a group home for seniors that provides assistance with the residents' activities of daily living, ADLs. Everything we do from the moment we get up out of bed to the moment we go to bed at night, including getting out of bed, brushing our hair, brushing our teeth, taking medication, bathing, toileting, walking. All those different things are what seniors need help with. They are not moving in for funsies, okay? They're moving in because they have to. It's no longer safe for them to live alone at home. It's not a Brookdale. It's not a Sunrise. It's not an Atrium. It's not a large commercial facility where, there's long hallways and impersonal staff. That's not what we're talking about. We're also not talking about the opposite end of the spectrum. For mature women who live in a home who need minor help with landscaping or changing a light bulb, right? This is the Golden Girl style. This is called independent living. What we're talking about is a residential home in a residential setting. It's a single family home, but when I say single family, I do not mean a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,200 square foot home. No, no, no. I mean a luxury, upscale, nice home in a really nice part of town. Typically single level, but you can do it with multiple levels. You add in a chairlift, you add in an elevator. All of those things help keep the seniors safe. These homes are upscale. They've got a large footprint. Think 300 to 500 square feet per resident. So with 10 residents, minimum a 3,000 square foot home would be comfortable, up to 5,000. Inside the home, the floors are smooth and clean. The furniture is age appropriate. Inside the bedrooms, there's beds, dressers, nightstands, or tables, just like you or I may have in our own bedrooms. And in the bathrooms, there's ramps, guardrails, handrails, things to keep the seniors safe. And who's living in the home? None other than our adorable seniors just living out their golden years. And I love to share this photo because for any of you who have had a loved one in a big box facility, you've probably never seen a scene like this. And I want you to hear me loud and clear. It's not because those caregivers don't care and ours magically do. No, it's because the systems are set up to fail our caregivers and our seniors. In a large facility, the ratio is typically 30 seniors to one caregiver. That should be illegal. If this was kids, it would be illegal. But apparently, America doesn't care about seniors the way that we care about kids. In our homes, we recommend a 4-to-1 or 5-to-1 ratio for the seniors to the caregivers. This allows the caregivers to actually attend to the seniors, to not leave them wet in their diapers, not leave them, with their call button pressed and not getting to them for hours on end. No, they have immediate care, immediate attention. And because of that, their experience within the home is so much better. We celebrate everything, whether it's Mardi Gras, Thanksgiving, Halloween, you name it, we're going hard because these seniors deserve the best of the best in their last years of life. We opened this call talking about, does anyone like to be a landlord, right? Like to have tenants. And I think that's funny because I usually ask, when it comes to doing good and doing well, I always ask all my landlords, I say, who has received a check for $6,000 wrapped in a love letter from one of their tenants? And right? Chris is laughing because he knows it's more like a punch in the wall or a real angry text message, right? It's never gratitude and appreciation. But in our care homes, we're getting love letters, kind text messages, flowers, balloons, cards, hugs every single month.
Wow.
With that check. These families, they're grateful. They're thankful for the opportunity you're providing their loved one because they can't do it themselves for whatever the situation is. So what do you really want? Do you want to be, proud of your investments and feel good about the work that you're doing? Do you want to have enough income to live the life you've dreamed of, to stop settling, stop working overtime for not enough pay? Or maybe you want to leave a legacy. I shared with you, my father got me started in this industry. And when he passed a few years back, he left me 3 cash flowing businesses that I have to work on 5 hours a week. What a blessing that would be to pass that to your own children, right? The facts and statistics are there's 76 million baby boomers, 10,000 people turn 65 every day, 4,000 people turn 85 every day, 90% of seniors, they want to stay in their own home, but 70% are going to need daily care for an average of 3.5 years. My crystal ball says assisted living is the way to go. But I'm sure right about now, some myths and misconceptions are popping up in your mind. Like, am I going to have to work in the home? And the answer is no. I don't work in my home and I don't show you how to work in yours. I show you how to hire the licensed appropriate staff who's going to work in the home, your licensed administrator who's going to hire your caregivers, and they're going to do the day-to-day with the seniors in the home so you can work on the business, not in the business. And that's really important. The second, is liability going to be through the roof? Right? I'm sure some of you are wondering about that. And it's actually not. It's about $2 to $3 per resident per day. With 10 residents, that's $900 a month. It is a line item. It's not going to break the bank, but it is definitely something you want to have. It is definitely something you need to have. It protects you, your staff, and your seniors. And that's important right there. This next one, you can't find good employees. These are fighting words, I think, okay? In 2021, during the Great Resignation, when surveyed, 70% of people said they left their job not for more money. They left because they did not feel appreciated. why would you want to stay working somewhere where you don't get a thank you, where you don't get, gratitude or appreciation from your boss? No wonder people wanted to leave and change it up. To me, it's not about finding better employees. It's about being a better employer. It's about stepping up and saying thank you for your hard work, paying fair wages, treating them kindly, and appreciating them for the hard work they're doing. That is one side of it. The other side of it is you're literally providing them a better opportunity. We talked about how the big boxes, the ratios are crazy with 30-1. If they're getting paid the exact same to come work in your luxury home, getting 3 meals a day and only have a 4-1 ratio, it makes a whole lot more sense of why they'd want to come work for you instead of the big box down the road. We've had students who've had their homes open for 2.5 years and not in 2.5 years, they haven't had one caregiver leave them. So when
Wow.
people talk about turnover, it's like, yeah, I would not want to stay working at the local Brookdale or Sunrise either. I
Mm.
don't hate on these caregivers for wanting to leave either. Offer a better opportunity, be a better employer. You're not going to run into that issue. Do you need medical experience? You don't. But if you are a medical professional, then that is a feather in your cap. If you're a doctor or nurse or have some sort of initials behind or in front of your name, I want to show you how to use that for marketing, but you do not need medical experience. Again, you're not working in the home. You're going to hire the people who are. And HOA won't let me do this. Just not true. Because of the Federal Fair Housing Act, we are a protected class. I
Mm.
mentioned earlier that a senior isn't moving in for fun. They're moving in because they need help with 3 to 5 ADLs. If you need help with ADLs, you are considered disabled. We're a protected class in that sense. So an angry neighbor, HOA, city or county, or even state can't tell you no. And that's important for
Wow.
you to know because that's not true in a lot of other forms of group homes, right? Seniors can't afford this. I'm going to show you exactly how we target market the seniors who can. And at the end of the day, this is just a home being used to cash flow more than a lot of the other single family investment opportunities.
Let's stay with the HOA real quick, Isabel. The
Yeah.
HOAs are shutting down. I promise you, they shut 2 of my Airbnbs down. I mean, this is the stuff that I'm living.
Yep. Because you're not protected, right?
I'm not protected.
Yep.
I like that.
Okay.
So yeah, they sent us a letter. They were like, "No more. No, it's done." Obviously, I didn't want to fight it. I could have fought it, but I'm like, with this here, that is so cool.
Yep. Maybe those Airbnbs, maybe you could turn them into RALs.
Yeah.
All right. What are the 3 smartest options for you to participate in RAL? First, you could own the real estate and lease it to an operator. This is what we call being a preferred real estate provider. So you would get a home, renovate it, get it ready to go for assisted living. Maybe that means adding more bedrooms and bathrooms. Maybe it means adding a sprinkler system or an elevator. Maybe it's, widening doorways or adding different features, ramps, guardrails, handrails, things to keep the senior safe. You've got the home ready to go. So the person who's going to operate the business within your home, they're willing to pay you for the hard work you've done, sometimes up to twice the fair market rent. And that's a beautiful thing right there as a landlord. The next is this is not a single family signing a 1-year contract with you. It's a business. They're trying to plant roots and establish a reputation and a brand. They do not want to be removed from this location. Most of these contracts are 3, 5, 8, or 10-year contracts. As a landlord, you don't have to worry about turnover. And that's a beautiful thing. Next is that they're a low impact tenant that requires little or no maintenance. There's no teenagers punching holes in the wall, no pit bulls being bred in the living room, motorcycles being dissected in the dining room. We've all heard the horror stories, right? None of
Mhm.
that's happening. The worst thing that happens is Granny's little rocking chair goes back and forth one too many times and we've got to paint over the sheetrock, right? The homes are being kept pristine and clean at all times because you're touring new seniors and families through the home. And you have 24/7 awake staff. And when everyone's sleeping at night, what do you think the staff is doing? They're cleaning, they're doing laundry, right? They're doing all these things to make sure that the home is perfect at all times. When I say little or no maintenance, depending on how you set up the contract, you might not be in charge of the maintenance at all. And again, for a landlord, that's a beautiful thing. The second way you can get involved is to own the real estate and operate the business. This is what we do and what most of our students choose to do. In this case, you control the business and the real estate the most, and you can make the most. So in a moment when I go through the numbers, this will be the category I'm referring to, category number 2. The third way you can get involved, some of you listening here, you're like, I don't want to own the real estate. I don't want to operate the business. I've got deep pockets. I'm an accredited investor, and I just want to invest in someone who's going to do this. You can absolutely do that by being a private lender or JV partner on one of these deals. So let's break it down. How much money can you actually make? Show me the money, honey, right? Well, first, we've got to ask how much assisted living costs, because everybody's coming in from all different parts of the US. And so I want to break it down for you. Jot this one down, screenshot it, whatever you need to do. But this is an amazing site, genworth.com/cost of care. When you go here, you can type in the area where you live or where you like to invest, and it will pop up the average rates in your area. It's a beautiful website because there's a toggle button. You see, my mom's not going to need care for another 25 years. So I can go on there and bump it up and say, how much is it going to cost me in 25 years? And y'all, the cost of care has gone up 84% over the last 20 years. Do we think it's going to keep going up?
Oh
Oh,
Lord.
yes, right.
Or you could take the mouse and drag it up.
Yeah, it's really cool, huh? I love that site. I need to get an
wow.
affiliate link for them. I send too much traffic their way.
Oh my Lord.
But it's insane, you guys. So if you're wondering what are the most expensive places in our country, Hawaii is holding the number 1 spot with average rates of $9,340 per month, right? Maine is next, Vermont, Delaware, New Jersey, DC. That's close to you, Chris. Not exactly there, but Virginia is pretty high too. You've got Alaska, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and California rounding out the top 10 at $6,250. Within a state, though, there are differences. So, for example, in Massachusetts, which was in our top 10, Pittsfield's the most expensive at $9,825. Barnstable's next, Worcester, Boston, Springfield at $6,368. This does not mean if you love mom, you move her to Pittsfield, and if mom didn't love you, you move her to Springfield. No, okay? Listen, if you live in Boston, mom or dad is probably coming to Boston because you are the adult child who typically determines where mom or dad goes. We call it the daughter Judy or the son Bob, right? That is the person who's usually determining where the care is happening. But if you had one REL home providing you an additional $10,000 a month, would you be more confident and secure knowing you could pay your bills easily and stay in control financially? Would you be more comfortable knowing you had a place for your own loved ones if and when they needed assistance? Or would you be more fulfilled knowing that you're actually making a difference and leaving a mark in the world? I know for me, REL has been that opportunity to just like tick those boxes. And I hope that this is also starting to tick your boxes too and really make sense to you. So let's jump into the numbers, and then I'm going to give you guys an amazing offer, and I'm happy to answer any questions as well.
Yeah, get your questions in, y'all.
You got, oh yeah, submit them. Any questions you have?
Yeah, put them in the chat, y'all.
The average cost of care we talked about is $5,350. So I'm going to bump it up just for easy math, $5,500 per month per resident times by 10 residents. I've mentioned that number a couple times because most states are going to allow you to have somewhere between 6 and 16 residents in the home. So 10 is kind of right there in the middle for easy math. That'd be bringing us in $55,000 of monthly gross income. But there are quite a few expenses in this industry, right? You're going to have all the regular, expenses within the home, but then we're also paying for staffing. We're paying for, a liability insurance and all of these different line items. In our training, we go through this line by line and show you the high and the low end of where you want and need to be. But for the sake of me whipping through this for you guys today, I just want us to focus on the two numbers at bottom, 25,000 or 35,000. 25,000 is if you plan to be the candlestick maker, the cook, and the baker. You're going to live in the home, work in the home, care for the seniors, do the grocery shopping, cook the food, do everything yourself. It's not what we do and not what I want to show you how to do. I want to show you how to work on, not in the business. So for this example, we're going to use the 35,000 for our overhead right here. Now, let's be real. Real estate is so expensive right now in most every market. And we're going to have a hard time finding a home that can house 10 residents. It's going to cost us a pretty penny. So I baked in $10,000 a month for your debt service right there. In most parts of the country, we can get a really nice home for 10 grand a month. And this still leaves us with $10,000 of monthly net income or $120,000 of annual net income.
Got it.
On one care home. I mean, that's pretty good. But it is, noon here on the West Coast and almost the end of the workday over on the East Coast for wherever you're listening to us from. I don't think you're average because you're sitting here investing in yourself, investing in improving your life, right? And upgrading. You're right. You're giving your time. And so you don't seem like an average person at all because the average person is not doing this right now. So I know I'm not average. I don't think you're average. I want to show you a nicer example. This is the exact numbers from Scott and Michelle, our students out in Metairie, Louisiana. $6,700 per month per person times the same 10 residents, bringing in $67,000. Our overhead stays the same because it's the same 10 residents, but our debt service increases because this home, it's in a better part of town. There's more bedrooms and bathrooms. It's a bigger lot size, whatever the case may be. This leaves them with $20,000 of monthly net income or $240,000 of annual net income on one home. That's game changing, right? That's amazing, you guys. Now, some of you live in markets like Texas, Florida, Illinois, Idaho, Indiana, Kansas, Ohio, Alabama, where you're allowed to have 15 or 16 residents. These are the numbers from my student Brian in New Jersey. He's got a luxury 15-bed home, charging $8,000 per month per person, bringing in $120,000 of monthly gross income. The overhead here is more because we don't have 10 residents, we have 15. So I need to pay for more care, more food, more electricity, more cable, more, you name it. Plus, it is luxury, you guys. If they want lobster and cheesecake every night, they get it, okay? If they want HBO and Hulu, we're throwing in Netflix too. Whatever they want, they get, okay? Debt service, it's going to cost us a pretty penny. I put in $20,000 a month for our debt service, mortgage, or rent right there. This home cash flows him $40,000 a month or $480,000 a year. I don't know about you all, but I know people who make $40,000 a year. A year. And I also have students like Brian making $40,000 a month. There is only one difference between Brian and the people I know who make $40,000, and it's between your two ears. It is what you stop yourself from thinking you can do. It's what you don't allow yourself to push forward and say, I know I can do this. I am deserving of this. I can make this happen. There's no difference between these two people except what's up there. And I don't want that to stop you. I actually want to show you how to have a 3-pack, 3 homes within 20 to 40 minutes of each other. Because the reality is if you're going to do this, then why not really do it? But also if you're going to do it, I want to show you how to utilize and share your resources. For example, your caregivers, they're going to work shift work, usually 10 or 12-hour shifts, kind of like a nurse. So maybe they're on for 3 or 4 days and off for 3 or 4 days. Well, if you only have one home, you guys, they're not off the other 3 or 4 days. They're working at Joe Schmo's home down the road. Okay. But if you have multiple homes, they're working for you 3 or 4 days over here, 3 or 4 days over here. They get to stay in the same work culture and environment. You don't have to pay overtime. It's a win-win for everyone. I want to share with you the 5 keys to success, and then I'll jump into the deal I'm going to give you guys, and we'll get into Q&A. So I appreciate you guys writing in questions.
The 2 questions in round up, homies.
Yes. When we talk about real estate, we can't not talk about location. When it comes to residential assisted living, it's all about density, demand, and demographics. This is not, if you build it, they will come. Okay. It's not the field of dreams. You have to make sure that you've done your internal feasibility study to determine that this market needs a care home there. When we talk about the 5 levels, we do not want to do a care home in a level 1 area. Okay. Neither of these are care homes, but you get the juxtaposition. If you are scared to go to this location at night, right? Ladies, if you need to bring a friend or your man there, that is not where we're putting a care home. Okay. That is not the place we want to invest.
Sounds like war zones.
Exactly, right? But we also don't need to go to the tippy top, the most expensive part of town with manicured lawns and guards at the gate, right? Who say, who are you coming to visit here? No, I want you to stay in the sweet spot, level 3, 4. Financially, that looks like this. If 5,350 is our, average point in our country, and you can redo this chart based on the numbers you found out from Genworth, then if you're charging less than that, it's a below average home. I want you to be in that sweet spot, that level 3, 4. I know level 5 looks nice. Ooh, 8 to 10K per person, sign me up. But look at the shape of the chart, you guys. It gets smaller at the top. Your opportunity zone shrinks because if someone can afford that, might they also be able to afford in-home care? Possibly. We shared this with Donald and to Linda Kelly, and they said, thank you to the REL Academy. It's been amazing, the education we've received from you guys. We wouldn't have been able to make this journey without you. We gave them the roadmap to success, which is a step-by-step plan that you use after the online home study course to really show you exactly what you need to do to get your home up and running. And they opened a beautiful 12-bed home out in Kansas City. I could not be more proud of them.
Wow.
Number 2 is your team. You are not it. In other forms of real estate, you can DIY, you can solopreneur, you can do it all on your own. But with REL, nope. You've got to build your team so you can repeat and scale. Mariella, my manager, she oversees all 3 of my care homes. And that is exactly how I've gotten down to that 5 hours a week. Because of her, I'm meeting with her. I'm doing little things like payroll or things of that nature. But I visit the home maybe every other month, right? Most of the caregivers and the seniors and their families don't even know me. And that's okay, because I built the business to be hands-off, just like I want to show you how to do. Barrington and Nellie, they said, we took the Rolla course. We now have a 20-bed REL home up and running in New York. Thank you for the support, encouragement, and resources along the way. Y'all are truly the best of the best in the business. Number 3 is clients. The resident is not your client. And I've mentioned who is your client, and I want to see if you've been tracking with me. It's not the senior. It's the adult child. It's the daughter, Judy. It's the son, Bob. That is the person who gets that phone call to say, mom or dad can't go home. Or, hey, they were running around in the neighborhood and their dementia is getting, worse. They get the call. They do the shopping for the care home. They tour the home. They sign the agreements. And a lot of times they're the ones who are paying for it. Many times they're writing you that love letter with the big fat check too. So you need to make sure you're speaking their language. You're marketing to them. You're attracting them, not the senior. It's a very different marketing play. Ogita, she took our online home study course. She said, thank you, Rolla. My family's opened 4 homes since we took your course. I couldn't be more proud of her. Number 4 is getting paid. We talk about how do seniors afford this, and I told you I'd come back to it, so here we go. Do not focus on Medicaid. Focus on private pay residents and maximize the long-term care insurance. Most of your seniors will be paying with Medicare, being subsidized by the VA, long-term care insurance, using their cash, their savings, their IRAs, their investments, or selling their physical home and using that capital to pay for their care needs. But of course, there's our last category of seniors who say, I'm going to let my kids figure it out, right? They said, I took care of you. It's your time to take care of me, right? We've all talked to one of those seniors. And listen, if that is your loved ones, if that is someone in your life, it's probably more important than ever for you to open a care home, just so you have a place for them to go, so you are not having to foot that bill along the way. Walt, he was a legend in this industry when we met him. And, he'd been in the biz for over 15 years. He did not trust that his kids were going to take care of him in the way he wanted. So he opened his own care home, a 10-bed, 10-bath home in Phoenix. He lived in the care home for free and cash flowed until the day he died. I love that.
Get out of here.
He's a legend, right? But we invited him to the training. We said, come, come, come. You know so much more than us. Tell us everything that we don't know. And he said, actually, I learned how I was leaving over $15,000 a month on the table, over $2 million during those 15 years. I felt sick to my stomach, but grateful to find out too. So I share this because if you are in this industry or know someone who is, and they're not cash flowing in the way I've been sharing with you, maybe there's something left to be learned. Maybe there's an opportunity for them to 10x their business. Number 5 is systems, you guys. Saving yourself time, energy, and money is so critical. Systems are the key to success. If you're type A like me, you got to have systems, right? And when it comes to RAL, it's about team building. How do we identify, train, and retain the best of the best staff so you aren't being called when someone doesn't show up for their shift? That all comes down to culture and onboarding and that continual recruitment. And there are systems that you need to know right there. Next is the real estate. You guys are pros at this: location, acquisition, renovation, but what are the minor nuances that you need to know with RAL? And that's what I love to show you. Next, funding. Some of you are thinking, hey, this sounds great, but how the heck am I going to fund this, right? How do I come up with the capital for this? Well, rest assured, I love to show you the 7 ways to fund your RAL. Our students, most of the time, are not using their own money. As Robert Kiyosaki says, you're being lazy if you use your own money. I think it's important to learn how to use OPM. And listen, there's probably a lot of people in your life who are getting a whopping 0% on their money sitting in the bank. And if you could offer them 12 or 15% back on their money, might they be interested in investing with you? Oh, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Partners. Some of you have a loved one in your life you've always wanted to go in business with, but you haven't really figured out that right realm. This might be that opportunity to partner with someone who brings something to the table that you don't have and do this business together. And that's a beautiful thing. Operations. These are the documents you need within the home, whether it's the policies and procedures, the emergency plans, menus, and schedules. It's so important to have the documents down. So when you go to get licensed through the state, you have everything there. This also helps you scale a lot faster. Sean, he did our online home study course. He said, I opened my first home a couple months after finishing the course. My 3rd home's up and running, and I'm working on my 4th. Hallelujah. I quit my corporate job and I got the Maserati I've always dreamed of.
That's cool.
Sean's awesome. And listen, some of you have goals that are like this: a boat, a car, a second home, whatever it is. Others of you have goals to donate $1 million to a charity or give back to someone in need or set your kids up for the rest of their life. Whatever it is, that's up to you. You can do whatever you want when you start cash flowing in the way that these homes can provide for you. Jessica and Mark, a father-daughter team, just like me and my dad were, they said, we took the course. We now have 2 homes up and running. Thank you for the support, resources, and encouragement along the way. We gave them the Profitability Calculator, which is an incredible tool where you can plug and play with the numbers and see if a deal is good or bad, if you should stay with it or run away from it. And it helps you make decisions quickly because successful people make decisions quickly. And we all know that that's true. So I can go through success story after success story, but the real question is, will you be the next success story? At this point, you've got 3 choices, and you always have 3 choices, right? 1, you can have a Men in Black moment, flash, forget everything we talked about, right? Keep living your life, keep doing your thing. And listen, I'll have a bed open whenever you need it. So give me a call then.
Oh, shit.
2, you can say, I don't need you. I'm going to YouTube University and I'm going to figure it out on my own, DIY, right? I wish you the best of luck. 3, you can say, this is really tracking with me. It's right up my alley. It's something I'm interested in. And this is just making sense. The cash flow and helping people, doing good and doing well. And if that's you, I encourage you to stick around for this next opportunity. Today, I was able to share with you the 5 keys to success, as well as the 3 smartest options for you to participate in residential assisted living. We talked about how you can passively invest as a preferred real estate provider and how one of these homes can be cash flowing you $10,000, $20,000, even $40,000 a month. Because we're virtual today, I wanted to offer you an opportunity to learn virtually from the comfort of your own home. We have an incredible system, our online home study course. It's 11 modules, 46 sections. It's a business accelerator. We show you how to find the home, fund the home, and fill the home. Each section is in depth. It's video courses, and we're showing you RAL 101, and then the opportunities, how to be an investor or own and operate the business or just own the real estate. In the real estate section, we go through the local requirements, the safety requirements, the bedrooms, bathrooms, kitchens, what you're going to need to remodel, or if you're doing an addition or a ground up build. In locations, we go through the best and worst, why you should choose those, and how you find them in your market. In the RAL business section, we go through the property, the documents, the licensing, staffing, who's independent contractors versus employees, and then what's the appropriate timeline start to finish, because I want you to be moving along quickly. Funding. This is so key to your success. Knowing the terms and definitions, knowing how to do a capital stack and reposition your assets, what lenders you should be going to, and what are the additional funding sources, as well as how to create your business plan so you look good in front of those investors. This next section, the cash flow, we go through case studies and show you our students across the country. 10 years in this business with thousands of successful students, you guys, we have all the accurate data on what things cost in each area, and you need to know that so you're not going in blindly. When it comes to purchasing an RAL, that's one of the 4 ways to get started. You know, there's 30,000 group homes across the country today, and you may find one that you want to buy. This is a great thing, but you need to know the top 10 factors to consider, the pros and cons of starting your own versus buying one, and then how to expand the business and how to value the business. In the marketing section, how do you name your home? What do you need on your websites and for social media? How do you fill your home fast? And what community involvement should you start getting involved in right now? The operations. You know, there are other people who train on this topic, but they show you how to live in the home, how to work in the home. Not what we do. We show you how to build your team. Pros and cons of starting your own or taking one over, what systems you need to be successful. Last but not least, 10 years in this business, we have partnered with hundreds of companies that want to offer you, as a student of the Residential Assisted Living Academy, incredible discounts and group purchasing power. We give you free access to our national association so you can be protected with that legal backing if you run into any issues with an angry neighbor or an HOA. We've got your back. That online home study course, it's video courses available at your fingertips. You can go through it as many times as you want, as many times as you need. Your investment today, $997, but you have to use the code ROUNDUP. This is for your group only. We are making this price point available and that promo code active for 1 week. So if you call me on next Friday, right, it is not available, okay? So take action. You can use the QR code or go to RALAHSC.com. I don't know if we can drop it in the chat, Chris.
Maybe. Yeah, it's in the chat. I'll put it in there. You're right.
Okay, fabulous. So click that, you guys. Use that promo code ROUNDUP. And Chris and I were chatting, and like he said, he was like, what can we give him? What can we give him? I want to give him something. So we've been working on this, and I wanted to give you guys this today. Everyone who takes action today or through this next week, I want to give you these 2 bonuses. The Profitability Calculator, that tool I mentioned that Mark and Jessica use to plug and play, see if a deal is good or bad, if you should stay with it or run away from it. This tool helps you really determine deals quickly, and I want you to have access to that. Second is the roadmap to success. What Donald and Talinda used after they took the course so that they knew exactly what to do step by step. Both of those as a bonus for you for purchasing the online home study course today. You guys, it is completely virtual. There's videos, there's quizzes and transcripts as you're going along. So we're checking your understanding. There's an area at the bottom of each video where you can write in your questions, and I log in every morning and I answer your questions. Sweet. I love working with, it's a lot of fun. I love helping answer your guys' questions because I want you to be successful. Our mission is to positively impact people by opening all these care homes across the country, and I can't do it alone. But if you had one RAL home cash flowing you $10K a month, would that be worth $997? Oh yeah, right? If you had one home where your loved ones could go if and when they needed assistance, would that be worth $997? Heck yes, right? So click that link, use the promo code Roundup. And I want to thank you guys so much for spending your time with me. I really appreciate you guys being here. It was a lot of fun. And I'm hoping there's some good questions so I can help
Yeah,
answer
that
whatever
was
concerns you
cool.
guys have.
All right, so it's so weird. Before we got started, I forgot to tell you that my best friend from high school just last week, Isabel, put their house on the market and they moved into a facility. I'm like, I forgot. I was thinking about talking to you all day about this, and I forgot to tell you.
Wow.
And I'm like, this is coming home for me, man.
Your best friend from high school?
I'm like the dude.
Chris,
I'm
you're
actually.
not old enough. What are you talking about?
I just couldn't believe it. He told me, and I'm like talking to you. I'm looking. I'm like, damn, going through these. We're talking to each other,
Yeah.
and the other thing I wanted to mention was I have my new tenant is renting from me, and she is doing it. So I'm just like, huh? I
You're
didn't even know.
already a preferred real estate provider.
I'm like, I'm only getting, she's paying. I'm like, she told me she could pay more than rent that I wanted. I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then come to find out, is she's doing this. I'm like, I got to learn this stuff, man.
There you go. You should know what's up then. Yep.
It's crazy. Get your questions in, Roundup. Get your questions in the chat so Isabel can answer them for you. And get started right now. Don't waste your time. The holiday just ended, so you got some time down over the weekend. Go through the material. And I gotta tell you, Isabel, before we get to questions, my
Yeah.
heart just goes out to landlords that are getting $200 a month. You know,
I
I
know.
was that guy.
Yep. Yep. And
Um,
everyone's so convinced that if you're new to real estate or if you're just starting in it, then that's the way you have to go. It is not. There's no reason you can't jump to step 10. You don't have to start at the bottom, right? You can do anything you want, whether it is Airbnb or assisted living. That's the beautiful thing. There's nothing stopping you.
You can try either way, but yeah, why not? But my thing was, so I got trained by some guys on Roth,
Yeah.
self-directed Roth investing, like back in 2005, right? I thought everybody knew this stuff, but I didn't know. I had learned it early, so people are learning this stuff early here. You don't have to go the 100, $200 route, guys, like we did,
Yep.
20 years ago.
Yep.
Deborah, thank you so much for coming. One of our members, channel members. Let's get some Q&A here, y'all.
I see a couple coming in.
I'm trying to pick so many. I'm good. Gosh. Pink Lady says she loves you. Ready
Thank
to
you.
name this Teresa. Oh, we got a recovering landlord in the building. We got to get him some. Let's see. I'll continue. Oh, thank you for continuing your dad's legacy.
Oh, thank you.
Yep. Okay. Darling, can you mentioned the numbers for each category? I guess the category
Are you referring to
at the beginning, it was different type of services.
with the chart? I'm wondering if it's with the chart, like level 1, level 2, level 3. Darling, do you want to give us any more insight on this question?
Yeah, maybe give a little more insight on that. I said
Yeah.
the beginning of the presentation, I think I didn't know that there were different types of assistance. I thought it was just one.
There's memory care. And so if you need memory care, it's typically an additional $1,000 per month per resident because the home has to have different requirements, different locks and safety measures, and the caregivers have to have a higher level of training. So
Got it.
memory care is a little bit above, but it goes independent living where Golden
Independent
Girls
living.
style.
That's
Yeah.
what
Then assisted living,
yeah.
then memory care, then skilled nursing. And when they need skilled nursing, that's typically IVs, gurneys, doctors. And so you can no longer do that at home. It's more of a hospital-like setting. They call it a SNF, a skilled nursing facility.
I think that's where because this was at the beginning of the presentation, so she might have been talking about that.
Yeah.
Isabel, Good Times wants to know, please put your city in here, Northern Virginia. So he's up there by DC. So he's going to be a little higher. Who determines the quality of the house, the actual property, Isabel?
So I think he's saying, like, how do we know if it's a level 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? And if that's the case, what I would say this is, if you just close your eyes and imagine, right? What is that sketchy part of town that you're scared to go to? That is the level 1 area, right? There is no like, what is a level 1 area in it's not something you can Google. It's like you just know this because when you drive down the street, you can see. Another way you can determine is going on Google and doing demographic research. The level 3, 4 area is going to be an area where the median, well, I should say this. What we want, the most desirable area, is where the average population is 50 to 70 years old, making twice the median income, typically homeowners and college grads, because that's daughter Judy, that's son Bob. So you want to be as close to them as possible. So when you go onto Google or City Dash Data, it will show you different demographics in your area. And if it's a lot of renters, if it's a lot of young people, if it's a lot of low income, that's probably more of a level 1 or level 2. We want to go to that level 3, level 4 area.
Got it. My email is chrisbuyshouses@gmail. James, thank you for that. Team is everything. AB Poll says, how do you go about having the tenants, clients agree to having you oversee their government assistance if they are receiving it?
So we don't do any government assistance. We do all private pay. And the
Wow.
reason we do this is because, government is typically paying about $1,800 per month per person. If someone is relying on that, they typically do not have the extra income to make up what it costs to live in one of these homes. So they will go into a home that just accepts that 1,800. And it's really sad, you guys. When you go to those homes, they're eating rice and beans and hot dogs. There's no activities. They're not being changed very often. The care
Oh,
is subpar.
no.
They smell bad. It's all shared bedrooms and bathrooms. It's rough. So we typically don't do that. But something that you can do if your heart is for underprivileged seniors, I'll say this. We have a student, an amazing student out in Georgia. His name's Dean. He opened a level 5 home that cash flows him like almost 30 grand a month. He uses his profits and he opened a level 1 home and he gives it to them so that they can have a more dignified, end of life experience. So if your heart is for underprivileged seniors, like I said, you can use your profit to buy the Maserati or to give back. It is up to you what you want to do, but it's really sad what a lot of the seniors in our country are receiving, and we need to do better for them.
That's deep. That is deep. Somebody says, always good to hear from you.
Thank you.
Indira. Vague LLC wants to know, what is the recommended number of rooms to start with, Isabelle?
Great question. Most seniors are going to want private bedrooms, private bathrooms, right? You have to think they're coming from their own home and now they're moving into a shared space, but they don't want to move into that much of a shared space, right? It's enough to just share the home with other people. So as many private bedrooms and bathrooms as you can. In Arizona, where we can have 10, I'm not going to find a 10 bed, 10 bath on the market, right? But I might be able to find a 6.5, that's 5,000 square feet, and I can renovate it and chop it up differently and add more bedrooms and bathrooms. And so that's what you're typically doing. Now, if you're somewhere like Texas where you can have 16 residents in the home, that's even tougher, right? Because that's a really large home. So that's where it comes into play of the 4 ways to get started. One of the ways is custom ground up builds that we show you how to do. So you can buy land and build a custom home from the ground up. And that is a possibility as well.
Wow. That would be crazy. You can build it exactly how you want it to be. You got the incline already.
Exactly.
Deep. Good question, Lawrence. Dwayne, what about the other people that need assisted living and they don't have the 8K? I don't know.
Yep. So the 8K was the level 5. So you could see all those levels when we looked at that chart right there. And like we just talked about, they'll probably be using government funding to pay for their care needs, and they'll be getting not great care. This is a crisis, you guys. Like, this is not only one of the biggest opportunities, but it's a literal crisis that our country is going to be facing. We're currently 1.3 million beds short. And they're projecting we're only building 50,000 beds per year. Like, we're about to double the amount of seniors who need care and assistance. We don't have enough beds. This is a huge supply and demand issue.
I'm telling you, I'm thinking about my parents. I'm literally thinking, as you're talking, I'm like, that's me. I'm the one that's going to be.
You're the son, Bob. You're the son, Chris.
Brianne, can you talk about the licensing requirements and with who?
Yep. So the physical home will have a license. This is based on square footage, emergency egress, fire suppression, all those different things. The licensed administrator, the person you're hiring to run the day-to-day, they will be licensed, and then your caregivers will be licensed. Technically, you don't have a license. It's the home, the administrator, the caregivers, but those are the 3 licenses involved.
Good. So we own the property. That's what my thing is. All my guys are real estate guys. They want to hire the right people.
Yep.
AB Poll, where do you get your residents from?
Love this question. There are so many amazing ways that you can market, whether it's having a Facebook page or a website, going to community events, forming partnerships with hospice agency, elder law attorneys, long-term care insurance agents. All those people will be your new besties. But also, there's an entire industry of people called placement agents. It's basically a realtor for assisted living. So typically what happens is, like, when my grandmother needed care, right? We worked with a placement agent. It cost the family nothing. They ask you what location, what amenities, what price point are you looking for? You share that info. They tour you to a bunch of different homes. If you choose that home, it doesn't cost the family anything. It costs the care home owner 1 month's rent or half of 1 month's rent. But I will pay $5K all day for someone who's going to stay with me for 3.5 years, right?
That's deep. That's
That's
deep.
huge. So placement agents are a way to pay for speed.
Yeah, I'm all about speed, man, because time is money. You got mortgage payment coming. Why not get them in now?
Yep.
Round up. We're going to keep taking questions. Make sure you go to the video description below. The link's right there. I put it in the chat too to get started with Isabelle's home study course. You got time? Check it out. This possibly, if you see a fit for yourself. Who we got next? Oh, somebody's mom. Oh, that's a good one. Deborah. My mom's 85, still has vitality. Good for you. She wants her own place. Can I do an independent living place for my family who are older with medical issues but are still independent?
Potentially. So independent living is just where it's like Golden Girls. Like, have you ever seen the show, right? There's just like the handyman who comes by and like people who kind of just like visit and check on them, but there's no actual care. So if your mom does not need care, she just wants a place to live with a couple of her girlfriends, you can do that. What we find is that this is not as lucrative of an opportunity. So if you're just doing it for your family, good on you, like, do it. It's great. But most of these people who, like, she's 85, right? So she's at the top end, or I guess I would say, yeah, the top end of the boomers right there. Okay. So a lot of them, and maybe she does, maybe she doesn't, own their own home. And their mortgage is a lot less than mortgages now. So if you were to buy a home right now and say, well, I'm going to have 4 of you and your girlfriends all move into this home, what they're paying to live in their own home is significantly less than what you would be charging them to share a home with other people. So a lot of them don't want to do that because they already have their own home and they're paying less. So now you're like, I have to pay more and share, but I don't even need the care. So many times they just wait until they need assisted living. And there's some people who do independent living, but it's harder to market because how can they conceptualize that, right?
Good point. Some folks think every area is sketchy. Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to live there. So as a caregiver, Adrian, for my 80-year-old father, as a caregiver, she is the caregiver for an 80-year-old father. If I open up a RAL, he could stay there?
Yep. So we started it for my grandmother, and she actually passed before we could move her in. But you can absolutely have a loved one live there. They can live for free, and you can still be cash flowing, because when I run those numbers, I'm showing you how to do it with a 10% vacancy. So depending on how many, let's say it is a 10-bed home, that's one person. So even if you didn't have him paying, you're fine. You're still cash flowing really well. And he has a place to go, where you don't have to do the care. You get to become a daughter once again. It's hard work, caregiving. So shout out to you. It's not easy.
Yeah, that's something good. That is a shout out. AB Poll, what can you do for those people who don't have good credit in front of the lenders for funding for purchase of the property?
Yeah. So we work with our students to help them create custom business plans where I'm on their board of advisors. I'm literally in those meetings on the bank with you, helping you out through the whole way. So once you become a member of the REL Academy by purchasing the online home study course, then that's when we can talk about those next steps of that one-on-one mentoring, and we can really help you through that process. Because if you don't have the background and experience, I want you to surround yourself with people who do, and that's how you get to that next level in any business.
Last question, we gotta get out of here. Femi, what kinds of liability insurance do you need just in case of lawsuits from slip or death and falls in the facility? Good question. Thanks, Femi.
Yep. And Annie's from Chesapeake there. A lot of
Yeah.
VA people out here. Okay.
Unusual. I usually don't get a lot of my local homies on here. They're
I
usually out of
love
town.
it. You're going to need professional liability insurance. That's the one I talked about. I don't know if you were on earlier, where it's about $2 to $3 per day per resident. So you want it. And when you're a student of ours, we give you a ton of resources. I said the last section has a bunch of resources and discounts. We've got companies who've worked with our students over the last 10 years, and there's quite a few liability insurance agency companies who you can work with, who know what we do, and they know how to protect you safely. So that's an amazing thing right there.
Well, Isabelle, you guys give her a thumbs up. Make sure you hit that thing down, hit the thumbs up button for Isabelle. Any final thoughts you can leave us with? You know, if you've been around the business like you have for a while, some things look so obvious.
Yeah.
They look so obvious, right? You know, like I know right now buying real estate and doing subject to is the way to go. Like taking over loans from all those low interest rates. That's so obvious. It almost thinks like, is this real?
Yeah.
It's so obvious.
We're coming into a crazy world and a crazy market. And, you know, we talked about in the beginning just that there's so much shift going on right now, right? The baby
Big
boomers
time.
hold majority of the real estate in our country today. And when they move into assisted living, now their real estate comes up for grabs. So there's going to be just a lot of shifts happening. And to me, whether it's RAL, if this spoke to you today, go for this. If it didn't, do something
Do
that
something.
touches this
go.
generation. Do something that helps them, because it's wild the opportunities that are here. And so if it is RAL, I'm excited to have you join us and join our mission of helping seniors and doing good and doing well. And if it's not, do something, because the seniors need us, and this country is not coming up with solutions fast enough. So it's one of those things where we as the people have to get together and do the work and help our seniors and look out for them.
That's right. And we can do that being private owners. I
Yep.
found that being the private owner is like, it's such a great position to be in.
Absolutely.
Okay, Isabelle, thank you. The link's right below, guys. Get signed up, get joined. You got 1 week to get the bonuses, and after that, you can't get this nowhere else. This is it. We negotiated the price for you, so 7 days is all you got.
I love it. Thank you.
See y'all soon. Bye.